In today's video, we'll be going over the 5 things that you need to do before starting your first LLC. First of all, I want to say that starting your first LLC is a huge step, and I really want to congratulate you because taking that initiative is super exciting. It can feel a little overwhelming or even scary at first, but just know that with some preparation and the right knowledge, everything will go smoothly. If you're looking to start your LLC today, we've partnered with Northwestern Registered Agent, and they're offering our audience an exclusive $39 business formation package. You can form your LLC today in under 5 minutes for just $39, plus any applicable state fees. You can do all this by using the link down in the description. It'll help support this channel too, so thank you so much in advance. With that being said, let's dive deep into the 5 things you need to do before starting your LLC. First, and probably the most important, you need to have a plan. And by plan, I mean a few things. First, you need a business plan. You gotta know what your business is going to do, how it's going to make money, and how you're going to market it, and how you're going to get clients. A lot of people get so caught up in the technical part of forming an LLC that they forget about the fundamentals. Questions like, how are you going to make money? A well-structured business plan is pretty much crucial. It doesn't even have to be this complicated or lengthy document, but it should cover the basics. For example, what product or service are you offering? Who's your target audience? And how do you plan to reach that audience? What are your startup costs? And how do you plan to fund them? These are essential questions that need to be answered before you dive into the actual LLC formation process. The legal structure of the business is important, but it's not as important as knowing how you're going to turn your idea into a profitable business. Whether you're offering services, selling products, or both, you need to understand how you'll operate and how you'll generate revenue. Your LLC is the entity that houses your business, but without a clear plan, the structure alone won't help you succeed. For example, let's say that you're starting a freelance graphic design business. Yes, forming an LLC will protect you from personal liability, but if you don't have a strategy for acquiring clients, pricing your services, and marketing your brand, the LLC itself won't make your business successful. This is why having a detailed plan that outlines how your business will grow in the first place is vital. Now, another part of this planning process is understanding why you need an LLC. A lot of people think that they need to form an LLC as the first step in starting a business, but the truth is you don't always need an LLC to get started. For example, if you're doing freelancing or doing something rather small on the side, you can still take tax deductions and write off business expenses without having an LLC. You can operate as a sole proprietor, which means that the business is in your name and any income you generate is considered personal income. However, once your business starts growing, or if there's a potential risk of legal action, an LLC can be a great way to mitigate that risk, as well as separate your personal assets from your business liabilities. Limited liability protection is one of the biggest advantages of forming an LLC, but it's essential to know when it's the right time for you to make that transition. LLCs do offer significant benefits like limited liability protection, but you should fully understand what those benefits are before jumping in. For instance, they can help you protect your personal assets if your business is sued or owes debts, but it doesn't necessarily offer automatic tax savings. This is something that a lot of people will misunderstand. While LLCs do offer legal protections, they don't provide an automatic advantage in terms of taxes. Understanding the pros and cons of forming an LLC will help you decide whether or not this is the right decision. If your business is relatively small and low risk, you might be able to hold off on forming an LLC until you've generated more consistent revenue. But if you're in a high risk industry or offering services where there's a greater chance of legal action, forming an LLC from the start is likely a wise decision. This will help you avoid personal liability if anything goes wrong. Second, let's talk about licenses and permits. This is something that can catch people off guard, but depending on what type of business you're running, you might need specific licenses and permits to operate legally in the first place. These licenses can vary at the federal, state, and local levels. For example, if you're starting a restaurant, you'll definitely need health permits. You'll also likely need a liquor license if you plan on serving alcohol and other related food licenses. These are state level permits, but you also may need local permits to comply with county or city regulations. For example, some cities require businesses to have specific zoning permits depending on the area that you're located in. The types of permits required can vary widely from industry to industry, so it's really important to research what's required for your specific business. Similarly, if you're a contractor, you'll need the appropriate building permits. It's also important to check whether you need a professional license to operate. For example, real estate agents, healthcare providers, and attorneys all need to be licensed by their state to offer services legally. One of the best ways to find out what licenses and permits you need is to visit your state or local government website. Most government websites have a section dedicated to business resources, and you can usually find a list of the required licenses and permits for different industries. Another option is to consult with a business attorney who can help guide you through the process and ensure that you are compliant. Now, keep in mind that compliance is key here. If you don't get the right permits or licenses, you could face hefty fines, legal trouble, or even have your business shut down completely. So it's worth spending a little extra time doing research that's required in your specific industry and location. It's better to spend the time and money up front than to deal with potential penalties down the road. If you're not sure what you need, services like Northwest Registered Agent can help guide you through the process and even handle it for you as part of their package. Now let's talk about coming up with your business name. But a lot of people find themselves stuck on this part. The name you choose for your LLC does matter, not only because it represents your brand, but also because there are specific naming guidelines that you have to follow when forming an LLC. First, you'll need to check if the name you want is available in your state. You can't register a name that's too similar to an existing business in your state. Most states have a business name search tool that you can access on the internet, so you can check the availability of your desired name before you start the formation process. It's a good idea to brainstorm a few name options in case your first choice isn't already taken. Another tip is to consider whether the domain name for your business is available. In today's day and age, having an online presence is super important, and securing a domain that matches your business name is key to building a huge brand, especially one that's respected. Your domain name should ideally match your LLC name, or at least be closely related to it. I'd recommend looking for domain names on platforms like GoDaddy, Namecheap, or Google Domains, especially to see if your business name is available as a .com or .co or other domain extension. Having an easy to remember and professional looking domain name can help build trust with your audience and make your business appear more legitimate. If your domain name isn't available, you might want to reconsider your business name, especially if having a strong online presence is part of your business plan. Another factor to keep in mind is whether the name is trademarked. You want to avoid legal issues down the road by ensuring that your name isn't too similar or isn't exactly the same as another business that already exists, especially if that current existing business has a trademark in place. You can search the US Patent and Trademark Office database to check if somebody else already has the trademark name that you want to use. If you plan to operate your business on a national scale, it's worth doing this step early on to avoid any issues with legal trouble. Now the fourth one, and this is a big one, you need to decide how you want your LLC to be taxed. By default, if you create a single member LLC, it will be taxed as a sole proprietorship. And if it's a multi-member LLC, it will be taxed as a partnership. While this is a simple setup, it doesn't offer really any tax benefits, and you'll be paying self-employment tax on all of your profits. The IRS treats LLCs as pass-through entities, meaning that profits and losses pass through the entity into you, the owner, which ultimately means that you have to pay that on your personal taxes. This is simple and straightforward, but it doesn't really provide much flexibility in terms of tax savings. If you're looking to make even more tax savings, I would definitely recommend checking out the possibility of electing your LLC as an S corporation. And then other than that, that's pretty much it. Once you have all this to go, you should be ready to go with your LLC. If you guys have any more questions about your LLC or important things that you want to consider, make sure to comment them down below. Also, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss any of our future videos, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.